Hey, good morning, everyone. Hey, Karen, good morning to you. Glad you're here. Hey, John, glad you're here. I hope New Hampshire's all right. Hi, Jane and John. Hope you're doing well as well up there in the kingdom. How are things? It is good to be back with you. Hey, Linda, good morning. So nice to see your stopping in. Hey, Deb, good morning to you. Glad you're here. Welcome, everybody. I pray you're having a good day and that you're keeping warm in this cold spell. I know it's going to warm up in the next few days, but still, good morning, good morning. How are you this morning? Don't worry, we have milk and bread for get the milk and bread. Get the milk and bread. Hey, Vicky, good morning to you. Getting better and better. Really brisk outside. Yes, I am glad to be back. I really am. It is a joy to be here and to be part of this community. So, good morning, everybody. It is a good day here. It is on the first day of February, on this Tuesday at 11:11, and I'm glad you're with us. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're a part of this journey, and I am really am truly grateful to be back. And I got thinking about what it means to after this break of time. If you don't know, I've been away. About 10 days ago, my father passed, and so we got to spend some of the last few days caring for him in the last bits of his life, and then to be back and to wish him well in memorial and so it is good to be back. It is right to be back. So. But one of the things, that I'm so grateful is simply the amount of love and caring that has been shared upon me, and so much of it from this community right here, from the folks in the church. Some of them are here that made the trek up to be a part of the memorial and it was a good day. It was a good send off for sure. But just all of the messages and the connections and the well wishes I've had, it's truly overwhelming for me, and it got me thinking about what it is to receive these good gifts, because these are truly good gifts. They are truly your wishes, well wishes for my family, your well wishes for me, your response to grief and the loss of my dad. It's really been tremendous. And it reminds me of this story that this is from the 5th chapter of John. This is Jesus encountering a sick man. So Jesus returned to Jerusalem for one day of the Jewish holy days. Inside the city, near the sheep's gate, was the pool of Bethesda, with 5 covered porches. Crowds of sick people, blind, lame, or paralyzed, they lay on the porches. One of the men lying there had been sick for 38 years. When Jesus saw him and knew he had been ill for a long time, he asked him, "Would you like to be well? Would you like to be healed?" He says, "I can't, sir," the sick man said, "for I have no one to put me into the pool when the water bubbles up. Someone else always gets there ahead of me." And Jesus told him, "Stand up, pick up your mat, and walk." Instantly the man was healed. He rolled up his sleeping mat and began walking. But the thing is, this miracle happened on the Sabbath. So the Jewish leaders objected. They said to the man who was cured, "You can't work on the Sabbath, and the law doesn't allow you to carry that sleeping mat." But he replied, "The man who healed me told me, 'Pick up your mat and walk.'" "Who said such a thing?" they demanded. The man didn't know, for Jesus had disappeared into the crowd. This is such a beautiful story and it's a story about healing, but it's a story about receiving healing, about this man who says, "I can't, sir, I can't possibly be healed." Now, let's consider this for a second. He's been laying there for 38 years. 38 years. In all of 38 years, no one, not once, not ever, came by and said, "Oh yeah, I'll put you in the pool when the angel arrives, when the healing happens. I'll get you over there." Are you really certain that in 38 years no one ever showed up? Quite the opposite. For the man who lay on his mat, he had figured out how to move through the world by being on his mat. He figured out how to get through the hard things. He'd figured out how to his little spot on the porch. You know, what would it be to be kind of on a porch, you know, on this little covered vestibule around this pool for 38 years? You know, it's home. It's the place. It's this comfort zone. And yet here Jesus shows up and says, "You don't need the pool. You don't need the troubling. You don't need the water. You don't even need the angel. You got direct access to the one who brings all healing and all love and all. And if you want it, it's there for you. There it is. Boom. You're healed." And kind of even if you don't want it, maybe even a little bit, in a way that it is foisted almost upon him. You know, this is a very, very tricky line in this story. And then you have the Jewish authorities coming along, the Pharisees, who say, "You can't be healed on the Sabbath. You're in trouble. You're carrying your mat on the Sabbath. The very thing that healed you, is wrong. It feels wrong. You're out of control." Because remember, the keeping of the Sabbath is, it's the job of the Pharisees to keep the law, to keep the Sabbath, to keep things buttoned down and in control, to make sure people are doing what they need to do. These encounters with our own unwillingness, perhaps, our own comfort zone, and our own control over and our own desire to lord over, they are, in many ways, the very things that prevent us from receiving all good gifts that God has for us. I know for me in this time, and I am coming back around to talk about me, but that I am coming back around to this because this experience that I had over these last few weeks of being extended great grace and great love from this church and from this community at 1111, from people all over throughout my life, and grace not just to me but to my family and to people that I love, to the wider world, and even to my dad in the honoring of his passage in life through this world, and all of it. It's a lot to receive, to really receive. To not just kind of stay in my little comfort zone on my little mat and say, "Oh, that's nice, thank you," but to genuinely hear the well wishes of people, to genuinely receive the grace and the goodness that I've received, to genuinely let myself be out of control, to feel like sometimes I'm doing something wrong, just by the ability to receive all the love that seems to have been showered out in these days. There's great grief in them too. Don't get me wrong, but that the amazing gifts that I've been given over these past few days and weeks. They're really Jesus' invitation to me to pick up my mat, to look different, to be different, to go somewhere different than maybe I'm comfortable with, than maybe I want to, and to even kind of to deal with the own accusations of my own mind of like, "Oh, you need to put that down. You can't carry your mat now. You can't be out of control. You can't do what you're supposed to do by being strong or looking the way you're supposed to look or all the crazy things we tell ourselves. I get to stand in a simple place and just be the receiver of incredible grace. Many, many, many of those graces coming from you right here that have been a part of this community. And I can only say that I am filled with gratitude. I am filled with love for all of you and for all that's been offered me, because I'm giving it my genuine effort. And I get it. It's not my efforting that's going to get this done. But I'm willing to be open. I'm willing to say yes to the healing. I'm willing to say, to offer, to say, to be given all good gifts from my Father in heaven. And by simply receiving the ones maybe some of you have offered me. C.S. Lewis writes a book called A Grief Observed. It's probably one of the finest treatises on grieving ever written. He late in life falls in love with his beloved Joy, that's her name, and loses her to cancer after a few years. She is they spend enchanted time together. And in her death, he catalogs his own grief, and as only a Lewis could do, like truly to watch his own process of being catapulted into the darkness of loss, and the way in which God's light shines through to him as a pinprick in a dark veil. And he writes this. He says, and there's also this: to him who has much been given, to him that has shall be given. This is a passage from Luke that he's quoting. To him that has shall be given. Because after all, you must have the capacity to receive, or even omnipotence can't give. Perhaps your own passion temporarily destroys the capacity. Perhaps the passion of our grief, the passion of our bitterness, the passion of our loss, the passion of all the different passions of the world that can temporarily destroy our capacity to receive. We must be receivers. We are receiving beings. We don't make thoughts, we receive thoughts. We don't make music, we receive music. We don't make math, we receive math, for math lovers out there. That all of our lives, until we can open ourselves up to receive in some sort of openness with our heart, we can't really give either. We can't. We stultify ourselves in our ability to give. Now, many of us are wired in one of two ways. We're either going to give ourselves away, or we're going to be able to receive, and we have to work on receiving, on learning how to receive. But whichever it is, however we're wired, however we are, all of this brings us, I think, to this well at Bethesda, this place where the water bubbles, this way that we think we need to be well, this way we think it all needs to be brought together, and yet in it, standing with us is Christ, who's simply ready to say, stand up, pick up your mat, and walk. And when we do that, all the grace of the world opens up to us. Yeah, we might have to put up with our own criticism and our own critique. We might have to put up with our own willingness to lay down our control and to receive the good gifts that God has from us from heaven. But when we do, all the graces open up. All the beauty of the world opens up. All the wonder of not just my appreciation of my dad, but everybody's appreciation. One of the things that happened at the memorial was my friend Stacy Carroll stood up. Stacy deployed to Iraq with me. She's a dear friend. But she stood up to say some words about my father. Stacy never met my father. She never met my father. But she stood to say some words about between the stories that she had heard, the man she had encountered, both in all the different ways, and me, and the assembly that was there. And what she pointed out, what she was bringing up was this ability, her ability to appreciate just some of his qualities that have kind of rubbed off on me, was an ability to appreciate him. The whole world turns to gratitude and appreciation when we can get out of the way of our own healing. We get out of the way of our own ability to receive the grace that is in the world waiting for us. In fact, we must begin, I think, many ways, our journey of understanding our spiritual walk at the place of reception. We got to be willing to receive joy. We have to be willing to receive love. We have to be willing to, in all of the ways that just gives us the vulnerability cringe all over. But we must do it again and again and again. We must stand in that place with our own ego where we would be accused for working on our Sabbath, for being for thinking what a good boy are we. But cultivating what Alexander McCall Smith calls is the gracious acceptance, the art of a gracious acceptance. The art of gracious acceptance. He says it this way: gracious acceptance is an art which most never bother to cultivate. We think that we have to learn how to give, but we forget about accepting things, which can be much harder than giving. Accepting another person's gift is allowing him to express his feelings for you. Friends, I am gracious for the feelings that you have expressed to me over these days. I am gracious for you as the hand of Christ standing by my own little well on my own little mat and my own little journey. I graciously accept all of the well wishes and all the things that you have offered me, and I hope today you might be willing to do the same. Be willing to hear the gratitude that I have for each one of you that in this journey. For even again, if this is your first day here, know that the fact that you found us and that you're a part of it makes you now a part of the gratitude I have for you. So welcome. Thank you for all of the beauty of this grand and beautiful life that we all share together. So friends, it is my hope you will receive all good gifts from your Father in heaven today. All right. That is what I've got for you. Donna, so glad you made it, Donna. It's so good to see you here. Bonnie, hi Linda. So glad you're all here. All right, friends. We'll pick it up tomorrow with another 11:11. Peace and grace, y'all.